All right, let's go into the history now of social media marketing. Now, if you want to take a look in your textbook on page 12, there's a full page infographic there that talks about some of the beginnings of social media, especially from 2004 into 2014. And you can see how very quickly things have developed in this realm. Social media marketing became viable with the development of the Internet in the late 1960s. The early Internet was created for the use of professors and researchers working for the Department of Defense. We talked about this a little bit in Intro to Broadcasting class. Remember this term, ARPANET? Those researchers were using that tool as a resource for non-work purposes in addition to the work that they were doing. And as they were using it for more personal sorts of things, usage quickly grew, became very popular, and early online marketing wasn't all that slow in following. Matter of fact, the first spam message was set in 1978. Spam has been with us a very long time. The earliest ancestor of today's diverse social media platforms is most likely Usenet, developed by Duke University graduate students Jim Ellis and Tom Truscott in 1979. So yeah, it was a North Carolina thing, Usenet, and that was a online platform for communicating with people. Users could post articles, and they were organized into different news groups. Others could subscribe to those news groups, and some would post responses. So it was kind of like an early predecessor of Reddit. Then in 1985, the Well was created, starting out as a dial-up bulletin board system, or BBS, and this quickly then developed into a dial-up ISP in the early 1990s, dramatically expanding its user base. Now, you might not know of that one very well, but you may have heard of services like CompuServe, Prodigy, America Online would be in this realm as well. And they all did a similar sort of thing. They gave people access to the web, and they also hosted various discussion groups about various topics. That was in the era of dial-up internet. Then with the advent of DSL and cable internet, quickly increasing transfer speeds, it became that social media became more than just sharing text messages with people. As more data was transferred quickly, social media networks became more advanced and included elements other than just plain text. We saw Napster in 1999, where people would share media files with each other. Then in 2001, Wikipedia came about, which was user-contributed information. So the online encyclopedia that's created by the users that use it. So in a way, Wikipedia is also social media. Then you have an explosion of different services coming out in the mid-2000s. MySpace, Delicious, Second Life, Facebook, soon to follow Flickr and YouTube and Twitter. Many of those still kicking around in one way or another today. Now, why is social media marketing different than anything else that's out there? Well, a common misconception is that social media marketing just means using new online social media sites to do traditional marketing, but this really isn't the case at all. You see, with traditional marketing, there's an emphasis on what's known as the 4 Ps. There's product, there's price, there's place, and there's promotion. Now, a lot of those things that we deal with when we're putting together commercials for radio and television, for example. And that sort of marketing has become second nature to many professionals. Now, while the traditional marketing perspective still has important lessons for future marketers, in the new terrain of social media, it has to be adapted, or in some areas, changed completely. Because again, as we've been talking about, in the online space, the word of mouth sort of style of how things go viral means that a company is not necessarily in control of its own narrative. It's being represented by you and me and others that talk about them. Several aspects distinguish social media marketing from so-called traditional marketing. First off, the first is control versus contributions. Traditional marketing seems to control the content. It seeks to control the content rather seen by the audience. So again, when you're putting out a traditional commercial, you as the company are writing the script, voicing the script, putting that information out there. You've edited it. You've made sure it says exactly what you want it to say. Traditional marketing. On the internet and in social media especially, control over content is consumed, and it's in the hands of consumers. So once it's out there for people to see and grasp and experience, they are in control with it. They can take it and do with it what they want. Social media marketing emphasizes audience contribution and relinquishes control over large parts of the content. That's how things become viral. Second way that social media marketing is different: trust building. Firms cannot fully control the content that users will create, so to build their image, companies must develop trusting relationships with their audience. So it's more than just making noise and letting people know that you're out there. You have to actually create a sense of trust, a sense of some sort of caring for the folks that you're trying to reach out to, meeting their needs in the way that they expect those needs to be met, so that you will get a good reputation from that customer. On social media, it is important to be earnest and down to earth. All communication must be authentic in tone and in context. So again, no trying to embellish yourself in ways that are outlandish, because they're going to be tested. They're going to be evaluated, and people will call you out if they sense that you're being fraudulent. So you have to be real with people when you're working in the online space. In traditional marketing, the signal is one way, from the firm to the potential customer. However, social media involves many-to-many communication, with brands being only one participant. You've got review websites. You've got reaction videos. You've got memes. You've got all sorts of different voices that are talking about the same thing. And generally, the other voices are going to be louder than your voice that is out there. So you're going to be the first voice, hopefully, but you want that voice to be something that is going to captivate the audience that you're trying to reach. Unlike an advertising campaign with a set beginning and end, social media is an ongoing conversation. That means that people are going to continually talk about what they see online, because what's online is online forever. And someone can see something from several weeks or several months or several years ago and pick up the conversation once again. On social media, trust is slow to earn, but it's very easy to lose. Successful social media marketers consider building trust with the audience to be of paramount importance. It takes time to build a relationship. It takes moments to destroy one. Let's move on now to careers in social media marketing. Developing your personal brand online. There are 4 stages to developing your brand as laid out by a man named Dan Schwabel. And here are his 4 stages. First off, discover. Discover. In the first step, you will learn about yourself and the distinctive characteristics that will make your brand unique. This is a journey of personal discovery and self-assessment, and it should be an honest evaluation of your strengths and your weaknesses and the career-related skills you possess or need to develop. So you may actually want to sit down with a piece of paper, Look at your pros. Look at your cons. Look at the things that make you unique. Look at the things that would be attractive to a potential audience that you are trying to reach. What is it they're looking for? How can you deliver it to them? How can you deliver it to them in a way that nobody else is? And create buzz about yourself in that process. Now, as you go through this process, you may want to develop a personal value statement that succinctly describes who you are and what you have to offer. This would be kind of like a mission statement for a business or for an organization. Why do you exist? What is your purpose? You need to have a clear sense of what that is. Know yourself. Know your company. Know your brand. Know your organization. And be confident in that as you put out who it is that you are, and make it so that your social media reflects those things that you are trying to project about yourself. Secondly, second stage, create. In this second step, you will create a personal marketing portfolio to support your brand. The portfolio should include your resume, your cover letters, and recommendations that others have given on you. The portfolio must have a home, preferably one that can be easily found by hiring managers. This may mean developing your own website. This may mean different types of social media that you can find yourself in, depending on different types of sites that are out there that appeal to certain types of audiences. That is something to consider. Thirdly, communicate. Distribute and promote your content to the important stakeholders in your career space. Promote yourself. Make yourself available. Use different tools that are available out there to be able to make sure that you can cut through the noise that's out there and make it very easy for people to be able to see you and find you and reach out to you. Fourthly, maintain. In this final step, you will continue to create and disseminate content that supports your brand. So it's not just enough to do all this and then put it out there and set it and forget it. You have to continually hone the material you have out there, revise, review, put out new content, continue to make yourself look fresh and relevant. Schwabel also shares this Octopus model of relevancy. This is on page 17 of your textbook. And basically what this is 8 different arms that are part of your personal brand. It starts with entrepreneurship. There's a bit of selling yourself out there and trying to capitalize on what it is that your overall goals are, whether it's monetary or there's some other purpose to what you're doing, fulfilling some sort of a mission, if you will. There's public relations. Public relations is how others view you and how you deal with how others view you. Marketing and branding. How do you want to be known? What sort of things are going to associate certain words, certain sounds, certain videos, certain jingles, certain graphics with you, your company, your brand? Networking. The folks that you associate with. Whether it's people within the same industry that you're in or those that may complement what it is that you're doing, those that can help you along the way, those that you can help along the way. Human resources, different personnel that is going to be working with you is part of your brand as well. There's going to be a certain reputation that your company is going to have based on those that work with you. Career development. Are you continually improving? Is your organization continually improving? Search engine optimization. How easy is it for people to find you? How easy is it for people to find you that weren't necessarily looking for you in particular? That's an important aspect as well. Finally, social media. All those things that we've talked about, social media is going to have an impact on. That's the Octopus model of relevancy. Developing a personal brand online requires many of the skills companies are looking for when they hire people for social media positions. A sampling of SMM positions may include blogger, community manager, digital media manager, director of social media marketing, engagement manager, interactive media associate, social media account executive, and the list continues to grow and grow and grow as more and more aspects become social in nature, especially in the online space. Okay. What are the characteristics of a successful social media marketer? Well, first off, being a successful social media marketer requires the combination of personal and technical characteristics. The personal are arguably the most important and focus on good communication skills. Good writing skills also are going to be necessary. So you need to be able to put yourself out there in the best possible light and honestly, be likable. If you don't have something that people are going to be attracted to, then it's going to be hard for you to make it in terms of being involved in the social media landscape. The group We Are Social Media has suggestions for job seekers that are looking to get a gig as a social media marketer. First off, stay on top of social media trends. What's hot right now with Facebook and Twitter? What's the newest platform that's out there? How popular is it? What are the risks of those different things? What sort of news items are trending? What memes are popular at the moment? Stay on top of the trends. Secondly, be prepared to think and act quickly. So, with the instantaneous aspect of the online world, things can change at the snap of a finger. So it's important to be able to have almost instantaneous reaction when it's called for. Thirdly, be comfortable with analytics. Know how to navigate through the data that's out there and how to make that data work to your advantage. Fourth, learn to write for social media. You have to be able to write in such a way that you can be understood with what it is that you're writing, that you have a flow to your writing that is easy to read. Most people aren't going to want to read a lot of technical jargon online, stuff that's very wordy. You want it to be rather simple, rather to the point, and catch the attention of those that are reading so that they'll read through your content. Fifth, establish and maintain your social media presence. So it's not just putting yourself out there, but making sure that you have fairly current content in your social media world. Finally, show yourself to be an effective user of social media. Make it look like you know what you're doing. Make it look like you have a reason for the stuff that you post. Many people make damaging mistakes on social media, and those mistakes can come back to haunt them for a long time. Now, sometimes this is just the abuse of social media. Sometimes it's putting something out there and what you put out there was taken in a very different way from what you intended. Sometimes it's folks that put something out there without your knowledge or without your approval, and it has a negative impact on you. These are all the perils of the social media landscape, and you need to be very careful as to how you use it, how you react to the things that are out there on you that you didn't necessarily put out there. And again, it's about being honest, being real, being authentic. And the more that you're willing to do that, and the more that you're willing to engage with those that are sharing social media with you, the better it's going to be for you overall. Platform proficiency is essential, but being an effective social media marketer requires being able to translate business or marketing goals and objectives into the execution of social media strategy. So what does that all mean? It means basically having some sort of a plan, having a vision for what it is you want your end game to be, and knowing how you're going to get there. So it's not just saying, I want millions of followers or I want millions of dollars in sales. You have to have the action steps in your mind as to how that's going to happen. Then you need to be able to make it happen. All right. To close out this chapter, let's look at the best practices for social media marketing. First off, begin with a strategy backed by an SMM plan. Random or inconsistent use of social media will not produce any benefits. So you need to be intentional. You need to be regular about how you use your social media. Have a purpose in mind. Have a vision for what it is that you're going to do. Second, be honest and transparent in all your social media efforts. Attempts to misinform or deceive will soon be outed to the detriment of the brand and the marketer. Building trust will be amply repaid in the long run. You need to be authentic. You need to be real. Otherwise, you will not be seen as credible, and anything you do will just fall flat. Thirdly, identify your target audience and understand its media behavior before you begin. There are many ways to engage on social media, and different audiences will respond to different kinds of communications. What is your message? Who is your audience? Answer those two questions, and then work your social media accordingly based on what is going to best serve the answer to those two questions. Welcome participation and feedback from your audience. Remember, the audience controls the communications, not the marketer. So you need to be willing to do a little give and take. You need to be able to answer questions. You need to be accountable for the things that you post online, for the things that people say about you. You need to be a willing participant in the conversation. Finally, remember that what you know today may not be valid tomorrow. Social media marketing changes with the evolution of technologies and of audiences. So, because we live in a society where people's tastes and flavors and all that sort of thing changes from moment to moment, you have to keep that in mind. So, you need to continue to be relevant. We've used that word a lot. You need to be relevant with the things that you are producing in order to reach your audience, because the tastes of your audience may change from time to time. So you got to keep up with what's happening and how to stay part of the conversation and be an active part of that continually changing conversation.